darkness make a way, and the stars don't sound a bit. When the fire's burning blue through you, we're alive inside a flame, and the night's a brighter shade. When the fire's burning blue through you, please let me drown. Please let me drown. A world without color, but now it's the sea's dark blue. Without
Ya toca comerse anuncios de nuevo. Bueno, pues paga el Prime, ¿no? Fácil. ¿No quieres anuncios? Pues da el Prime. Somos ahora mismo 8 de 20. O sea que la peñita, neno... Ah, no estamos a día 5. ¿Cómo podemos lograr los 50? De hecho, no sé cómo estamos. Vamos a ver. Vamos aquí. Acaba de ser el anuncio de Hyundai Kona. Bueno, será porque estás necesitada, ¿no? Que se abre acercando el móvil. No sé yo si será buena idea. Hombre, a ver, supongo que no será cuando le dé la gana a él. Estamos en 29.71. Yo no sé si llegaremos a los 50 este mes, ¿eh? Porque aparte creo que cambiaron o van a cambiar el rollo de los primes, que van a valer menos. Entonces, o sea, no que van a valer menos, sino que le van a dar menos al streamer que antes. Ya era hora. Y subimos a 9. Muchas gracias, Alía Luna. Así me gusta. Ahora te vas a comer anuncios, pero menos. No sé nada de Isma. El viernes se me olvidó hacer el directo. Me puse a hacer cosas en el coche, en Abelendo, y me olvidé completamente. Me di cuenta por la noche después. En plan, hostia, no hice directo hoy. Es más, yo quería ver... Creo que no tengo cuenta de HBO aquí. Uy. No era esa la tecla, ¿no? ¿Tengo HBO aquí? No. Pues igual sí. Oh. Me gusta. Oh. Pues parece que no. Qué putada. Quería ver Tokyo Vice. A ver si pues soy capaz de... O si hay por aquí, seguramente en Raro VG. Y aprovecho para pasarle esta página a un colega. Tokyo Vice. S02. ¡Uah! No hay nada. Estás de coña. No está para ver, no jodas. Siendo ciego. Debería estar la segunda temporada. Salió el día 2. Yo no miré nada. Pero debería estar. Tokyo Vice. Yo estaba viendo Interstellar por primera vez ya. Puede estar interesante el directo de hoy. Sin presión. ¿Qué va a estar interesante hoy? Va a ser normal. Joder, no está. No me puedo creer que no hayan subido la segunda temporada aún. A ver. Tokyo Vice. Season 2. No sé, vamos a poner segunda temporada. Temporada 2. Vamos a ver. La casa de Tokio aquella... Que no la vi. Voy a poner aquí Mega. Bueno, esto tiene pinta de ser una puta mentira. Y ahora te voy a poner paga. Me la juego, Creo que vais episodio 2, pero no es episodio 2 de la segunda temporada.
Funcionó, ¿no? Es una buena frase.
Sí.
Oye, nadie conoce Kabukicho como tú.
Este es el capítulo 2 de la primera temporada. Capítulo 2, temporada 1, claro. Y no me deja entrar en HBO aquí. Me dice como que no... No se pagó la suscripción. Raquel, me cago en la puta. Bueno, en la tele yo creo que va. Igual cambiaron el correo o lo que sea. Con lo cual, no puedo ver esta mierda más que en la puta televisión. De todas formas, yo quiero verla en inglés. Porque hablan en inglés y en japo. Y aquí estará en castellano. O sea, para verla aquí será en castellano. Con lo cual puedo verla 2 veces. Mañana sí lo... Mañana no. Bueno, no sé qué voy a hacer mañana tampoco. Esta semana... Uf. Y la semana que viene... Es carnaval. Yo... no sé si voy a hacer directo, ¿no? Me tocó un grumo de proteína. Me refiero el lunes y el martes. Es carnaval. Esperemos que no llueve. Vamos a verlo. Bueno, Limens también me puede ver. Dirás un grumo y no un gramo. Estás graciosa hoy, ¿eh? Yo estoy aquí medio aún de resaca y tú haciéndote la graciosa. Muy bien, muy bien. A partir del jueves llueve. El sábado va a llover un poco, pero va a llover. El domingo también. El lunes a saco. El martes... Aquí parece que no, pero... Joder. No me lo creo, tío. No me lo puedo creer. Va a llover el jueves bastante. El viernes también bastante. El sábado poco. Pero va a llover. Domingo nada. Ah, pero el lunes. ¡Pum! Y el martes, bueno. Al final yo más el lunes que al final veo más el lunes que el martes. Y el lunes va a caer un chaparronazo guapo, ¿eh? O sea. Y el fin de semana igual. El domingo es el único día que parece que no llueve. Que es el único día que no hay nada, obviamente. O sea, el jueves va a caer una tromba guapa. Y yo tengo que ir a trabajar, tío. Cago en la puta. Ah, no, es el viernes cuando voy allá. El viernes va a llover, el sábado también. Bueno, el viernes no voy a hacer nada. El sábado supongo que bajaré a Cangas. Pero el lunes y el martes, buah, es que ahí hay que ir un día. A ver, da igual que llueva o que no llueva, pero si llueve es más mierda. Empezamos 2024. Piwi, va a llover en carnaval, ¿eh? Nos vamos a la mierda. No nos vamos a mentir aquí. Carnaval chungo. Carnaval muy, muy chungo, muy chungo. Sí que es verdad que en IO suele llover, pero estos 2 últimos años yo creo que no llovió. Que no puedo pillar las vacaciones. Bueno, puedes haberme lo dicho, si las querías. No te las iba a dar. No sé. Y luego el resto de la semana no llueve. Es que toca todo. El rollo es... Lunes y martes va a llover y a partir del miércoles casi nada. O sea, y antes de... O sea, ahora hasta el jueves nada. Pero a partir del jueves al martes va a llover todo. Pero no puede ser... No puede ser que siempre pase lo mismo en ello. O sea, la mayor parte de las veces llueve. Yo no entiendo, no entiendo. No entiendo. Y si no vemos en Winguru, a ver qué nos dice. Tiempo. Bueno, aquí el lunes pone nubes, pero sábado, domingo, poallita. El viernes va a llover, el jueves tormenta, el miércoles va a llover. El tiempo. Pontevedra, 14 días. Oh, qué pesados, tío. Aquí tenéis. Miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, lunes, martes. Buah, aquí ya te pone que va a llover para siempre. Tutiempo.net. Lluvia, 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 lluvia. Lluvia, 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 lluvia. Bueno, el lunes pone que tal, pero lluvia. Esperemos que el lunes aguante y no llueva tanto, tío. Y el martes me quedo en casa. No me queda otra. Carnaval pasado por agua. Podría llevar un paraguas, pero es que me da por culo que flipas, ¿eh? Porque la gente ya no va a querer subir, yo creo. Tengo que hablar con ellos, a ver. De todas formas, una putada que al menos un día, ¿no? Un día bien, que no llueva, que haga calorcito y tal, será de agradecer, ¿no? Si llueve tanto, tanto, es que llueve muchísimo, yo tampoco voy a subir aquí a empaparme allí. a estar en una puta esquina. Que lo hubiera hecho, ya lo hice más veces, ¿eh? Lo hice más veces en otros años. Pero... Una cosa es eso y otra cosa es querer empaparse para luego venir para casa hecho una mierda. Entonces, no me compensa nada, ¿eh? No me compensa una puta mierda, la verdad. A ver qué pasa. Igual cambia el tiempo en estos días, pero va a ser complicado. Si fuera un poco más lejos, sí puede ser, pero... con tan poco tiempo de, ¿sabes? De una semana a otra no suele cambiar tanto. Pero bueno, tengamos fe, neno. Tengamos fe. ¿Por qué no?
Hello everyone and welcome to our first video in
Voy a
this
bajarle un
channel,
poco al chorbo este porque...
showcasing a modern design and luxury listing in sought after neighborhood of Ebisu in Tokyo. Today, I'm your host Eric from eHousing and I'm here
Eric
to-
Nasridinov. ¿Qué cojones es esto? Eric Nasridinov. O sea, que una rusa o un ruso se folló a una china y dijo, o una japo y dijo, venga, let's go.
give you a tour of this stunning unit. And relax and let's enjoy this magnificent unit.
Enjoy. No hay casa de Enes. Me ponía las casas más no sé qué de Malibu. Lo tengo ahí.
You feel the instant contrast between exterior and interior of the house. To the right, you see this craftsmanship of wooden cabinets and storage that has a nice blend on it. To take off my shoes because it's a culture to take off the shoes before you walk in the home in Japan.
O sea, me está gustando, Me está gustando.
Floor to ceiling glass which is coated by film so we can see what's happening outside but outsiders cannot see in. And in a detached house it's common.
La entrada me está gustando ya. Sé que la puerta no es demasiado grande. Pero ahí lo que dijo es que ese cristal, desde dentro puedes ver para afuera, pero desde fuera no te pueden ver. Maravilla.
To have a dark first floor, but because of the glass, this gives a bit of sunlight and also create this feeling of openness.
Me flipan las escaleras.
Right, you have your own private elevator that takes you to the second and third floor, which might also save your knees in future. And at the end of the hall,
¿Para qué abres el ascensor si no vas a entrar?
Room. This is equipped, spacious gym. You could use this as an extra bedroom, but the owner decided to turn the space into fitness center. And
Bueno,
let
no
me
está
try
mal.
Some weights on. I'd rather stick to real estate. Let's go back to hallway.
Ahí intento hacerse un
Before
chiste,
going
pero no me hace
upstairs,
puta
I
gracia.
want to emphasize these floating stairs.
Las
on the
putas
left.
escaleras son la
Not only
pollísima,
save
la
space,
verdad.
They also look very, very
Me
elegant.
flipan.
Okay, let's check out the second floor.
Que no tenga cristal ni nada me parece increíble.
On this floor,
La
is
polla.
the master suite, kids room, powder room, and
No es muy
one
larga
room
este vídeo,
where you can read your favorite book, play some board games, or even a table
Teniendo en
tennis.
cuenta que es una casa...
The moment
Japo.
you come to the second floor, you feel the dim lights that encourages the rest and also creates that harmony. Anyway, let's start with the powder room. This feels like a 5-star hotel. As you walk in the powder room, we have these 2 washing machines over there,
Qué guapo.
double vanity, and this marble slab which feels very
O sea, está
magnificent.
muy bien hecho. Es
At the
el
same
estilo
time,
que a mí me
also
mola.
standing on this
Rollo
snow sleep
moderneo a
which
fuego.
also
¿Para qué vas a
quite
querer
easy
una
for my tool as
casa
well. And at the
chapada a la
end of the
antigua,
powder
no?
room,
A mí las casas en Japo y tal, con el tatami, eso sí, mucha gracia, pero
let me show you the master's bedroom.
tener una habitación,
To the
¿no?
right, you see these featured panoramic windows, and on both sides there is a door that you can open to get some fresh air or ventilate the room.
Eso que es para tirarte para abajo. ¿Qué?
To the left, you see this massive vanity mirror that you can look at yourself with a built-in lights. And at the end of the room, there is a storage with the lights on.
Qué guapo.
Not to forget, there's also a floor heating system in this master bedroom to keep you warm in the winter. And before going to the third floor, I want to show you the walk-in closet. Let's go check out.
Joder, tiene un medio sándwich ahí interesante el chorbo,
This
sí,
is
señor.
literally similar size to some apartments of Tokyo, and this can easily accommodate
No me mola el
closets that you have.
armario este, no me mola nada. Pero bueno, es muy japonés. No tienes ni baldas, son todo para
There
colgar,
is
güey.
another walk-in closet. Imagine having a walk-in closet inside the walk-in closet. This is how big this house is. Let's go check out the third floor.
Tercera planta,
This is
que está guapísima.
definitely the pinnacle of the house. This is the space where you're going to be spending
Muy guapo,
majority
tío.
of your time. 50 square meters, kitchen, dining, living room, floor to ceiling
Muy
windows
guapo,
on
eh.
one side and the balcony on the other. This place is so big yet so cozy. As you can see, there is a wooden ceiling on top of me with the gorgeous lights and dark gray tiles in the bottom.
Me mola el
This is
contraste de la madera con el rollo oscuro y tal. Me mola mucho, mucho. Sí, señor. Esta casa sí que me molaría tenerla, por ejemplo.
Emphasizes the size of the space. This is big stone island kitchen, and pay attention to this porous marble texture. And behind me, there is a panel with 5 gas stove burners, which is also not quite common in Japan. And over here on the right of me, pay attention to the small details. All the outlets, everything is hidden behind the storage to emphasize that minimalism style. And right next to it, there is this hidden fridge as well.
Yo no sé si está muy bajo el tío o no, ¿eh? Yo lo supo, que lo bajé un poco.
Truly speechless. Moving towards the living room, I can tell that this house
Qué joven veo a
is like
Enes.
nothing
Bienvenido, Isma.
before.
¿Qué tal?
Concrete does not equal cozy.
Le salió
but
un poco de
Apollo
nariz al todo.
contradicts this. They
Está
were
muy guapa
able
esta casa,
to
tío.
turn this big, massive concrete
La verdad.
house into the place where you can rest, entertain, work.
Yo tendría
and
una
do
casa
so
como esta,
much more.
pero
Truly
seguro que vale
speechless.
muchísimo.
And as I'm sitting in this extensive couch,
Pero muchísimo, ¿eh? O sea,
I
tiene que
have
valer...
a view of each
Yo no sé si lo
corner
ponía
of
aquí.
the room, dining room, living room, and TV in front of me, 120 inches, where I can spend time with my friends
Ojo,
or
120.
family. And
120
if you want to
pulgadas.
quiet your mind, to the left, you can see this balcony with potted plants, which we'll check in a minute. This is the place where you can enjoy a cup of tea.
Ya no digo
or
nada, que yo
coffee,
soy el más
or get
indicado
some
para
fresh
quejarme de
air,
las narices. Yo
because
también,
there is
pero
no
hostia.
roof, as you can see above me.
Ya, porque tiene
which
forma de
is not
sándwich.
actually
¿eh?
the only place which is outdoors. So now let's check out the rooftop.
Aquí tiene más planta.
Whew, finally, the rooftop of the house.
El techo.
As I step in outside, instantly I
sea, el
can see
techo.
the plants all over the perimeter of the
El
house,
ático.
which reduces CO2 and also
Una terraza.
helps with the physical and mental being. And also this place is great for having parties, barbecues, you name it. I want to bring your attention to the shades above me. Not only they save you from harsh UV lights and also benefit you from getting vitamin D, but they will not
Si
help
te
you
llueve, ¿qué?
from the
O
rain.
sea, si te llueve no
And
puedes estar
that's
ahí.
why Apollo team picked the materials that are water resistant and will not get soaked in this.
Son
This
de
show has been extra
materiales
special, and we're really
obviamente,
looking forward to share what Tokyo
para la lluvia.
has to offer.
Son
Yet,
resisten
the
la
house
lluvia,
team
obviamente.
is still shocked
Pero
to be
coño,
able
si pusieras
to
eso
show this kind of
con un puto
one
cristal
of a
por
kind
encima, ya estaba.
property. Not only this
Digo yo.
house is a top notch, so is Abisu. A Spirit is a 4-story building that was
Está
built
rodeado de
in the
putos
middle
edificios, tío. O sea, a ver, está guapa la casa, ¿eh? Y te llueve torres el bañar. Es que es así. O sea, la casa está, a mí me parece la polla, ¿eh? En comparación con las casas que hay a los lados y tal y toda esa mierda, pero claro, es muy bajita. Es que hay putos edificios a saco, pero bueno, tiene que valer una
of
pasta
the
esto.
city, which provides the timelessness and privacy. Absolutely amazing.
Privacy no creo que tengas
And,
mucha.
thank you for sticking with us throughout the journey. And if you want to see more videos like this, please let us know in the comments. And subscribe to our channel if you want to see more like that. With that being said,
¿No ponen cuánto vale o qué? $5.49. Open Door. Truly speechless.
truly speechless.
Plan, abro. Abro la nevera. Me quedo sin palabras. Darla M, ¿qué? ¿Tú qué? ¿De qué vas, tío? Tú, con tal de no trabajar, macho, es la hostia. Febrero. 5, no, 5 no puede ser. Ay, sí, es 5 de febrero. 5 de febrero. Ni una cata, ¿eh? Ni una cata. Me parece fatal. Fatal. Mira, este vídeo no es de Enes, la página principal, porque no subió casa ni nada. Pone, recorriendo una de las casas más icónicas de Malibú. Enes Plus. O sea, esto cuando te haces las Apple Vision, exactamente quería ver algún vídeo. Cuando tienes muchos suscriptores en un canal, yo creo que te haces el segundo canal, porque así ganas dinero en los dos. Que es el doble de pasta, ¿no?
Malibu, prime coastline, sunny weather, and scenic beauty.
A ver.
These combined elements create the perfect setting for some of the most sought-after properties and most exquisite estates found across the entire
Joder, qué
globe.
bonito. Aunque esta es la casa que vamos a ver. Pero hay... Oh, guay, esta tiene que ser enorme también.
Perched atop its rolling hills stands the true
Mira eso,
Malibu
¿qué
icon.
cojones?
Raven's Eye, an architectural marvel designed by the legendary
¿Viste el monitor 3D sin gafas? No. Pásame ahí. No
architect
sé.
Harry Gesner, and it's one of his most
Me parece
unique
horrible la puta
and
casa,
boldest
también te digo.
statements. I just can't get enough of this home. Look at the frame that we're seeing right now. A trophy estate with 30-foot ceilings.
¿Es en plan
Curated
vikingo o
decor,
qué?
expansive glulam frame structure, and panoramic views from the mountains to the sea. It's a one-of-a-kind experience that will immerse you if you take the time to appreciate it. And that's why we invite you to join us as we tour Raven's Eye.
Raven's
Cody, are we
Eye.
doing this?
We're doing it today.
Mira
All right,
esto.
everyone.
Ya la puerta está en plan rollo... Esto es rollo vikingo. No me mola. ¿Qué monitor 3D sin gafas es ese? A
Welcome
ver,
to the
cuéntame.
Raven's Eye. This is an incredible property. I'm beyond excited for today's tour, and we're going to start here on the exterior. Look at
Me
this
dijeron algo
arch
por aquí, ¿no?
opening with all these glulam beams. You have slate floors throughout, and the entry of this property with its architectural lines blends into the landscape so beautifully. And then we have
Estoy
this
buscando el vídeo,
insane
ok.
front door with all these rustic hardwares, and then you open up the door to the landing. Same slate floors continue, and it brings you straight to the great room, which is absolutely insane. 30-foot high ceilings, glulam beams, walls of glass facing the Pacific Ocean, and the volume of this room is stunning, and we're gonna go down there in a second. Now, coming back to the railing, to my right we have a
Vamos a ver
foosball cable,
también, bueno,
coat
cubrín de
hanger.
mierda, como no.
I gotta show everyone the backside of this front door because it's insanity. Look at all the details and this locking mechanism, as if I just walked into a castle. This is just so cool.
No es
And
de un
again,
castillo,
coming
loco,
back
es
to
de
the
los
landing,
vikingos.
We have the views of the Pacific Ocean
Lo
right
que
in
sí,
front of us.
bueno,
Now I'm
para
gonna
limpiar
take
esos
the stairs
cristales, la puta
so
madre.
we can go down to the great room. It has an
Quiero ver
open
algo
mindset
del Vision
design,
Pro también. Que el otro
curved
día
railing.
estuve
It
viendo
actually
un cacho del
widens out
vídeo
as it comes close to the
de
landing,
presentación.
and voila.
De presentación,
Welcome
bueno,
to the
de
great room.
un
I
tipo
mean,
que lo compró.
Look at this space. Seriously.
Y
The ceiling height, walls of glass.
se ve a
all
Peña por
these
ahí yendo
manufactured
con las
beams,
gafas por la
the
calle
way
y las de
it's
Dios.
framed. is phenomenal,
Pero
and
que
we
es
have
caro.
so many different spaces to
Se vale
cover.
3.000 euros
First,
o algo
let's
así.
come right in the
3.000
center
pavos por unas
so we
putas
can
gafas,
check out
loco.
this exquisite seating area.
Cuando tienes
Gorgeous
opciones
coffee
como
tables with all these accessories and candles, couches
las
and
Oculus
chairs, and I just
por
love
mucho menos.
how mid-century modern they are with these stainless steel frames, and this aged leather looks so beautiful. Now let's go to the other side. We have another seating area here, and I cannot stop talking about all the furnishings, accessories, and curated pieces in this house. When you look around, the art pieces,
No me mola mucho,
sculptures, and every single piece is unique.
La verdad.
I mean, look at the coffee table here.
No que me
It's
moló
aged
tampoco el rollo,
beautifully. We have candles, books, your fireplace on
este
the other
rollo, es lo que
side.
os decía yo.
Speaking of the
Es el
fireplace,
contraste un poco de lo moderno y algo de este estilo, ¿no? Más chapado a la antigua, iba a decir, pero no es a la antigua, sino extraño, vikingo, europeo, raro, ¿no? Que es un coño que una casa así, en vez de una casa como la que vimos antes. Yo prefiero la otra, aunque sea más pequeña.
They have the same arch here. It's all this beautiful brick, and the same brick continues on the floors, and it actually goes to the back walls as well. And then you have your ceiling height. You have these really cool rustic doors opening up to the side patio, which then leads you to your backyard. And I gotta say, I'm almost overwhelmed with all the details and finishes in this house. And again, I'm really excited for our tour. Now, while we're here, let's cover the specs of this gorgeous home. So we have 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, situated on a 1-acre lot, on the market for $14 million.
14 millones.
And I want to give big
No,
thanks to the
sí,
owner
14
for
millones.
making this tour possible.
Ni
As
loco.
always, you can find
Con
more
14
information
millones te
about
compras
this
la otra
property
casa,
in the
seguramente.
description of this video. So make sure to check it out.
Bueno, no,
Yeah.
no sé.
What do you
Yo
think?
supongo
You've
que
been
sí.
awfully quiet.
I
Y
love
en
it. It's
Japón,
like a French
yo-
chateau meets medieval palace in Malibu.
Sí, medio medieval, claro,
and
sí, sí.
some, you know, it's like
Pero-
it's also very modern, very quirky, very curated. It's truly an experience being here. And
No me
again,
mola
just
demasiado.
like when you look around, the volume, finishes, details, it's incredible. But let's not forget, you're here in Malibu, and we have incredible views behind this glass door. So it's nice that this level comes with a wraparound balcony.
yo el gimnasio
They
me
have
quedé
the same
sopa,
slate
chaval.
floors also here.
Las resacas
Glass
con
railing
30
throughout
años
to
ya
take
son-
nothing away from these views. And speaking of the views, that's the Pacific Ocean. This home is in an amazing location. We're about 5 minutes from
Son,
Malibu here, 10
no
minutes
de un
from
día,
Santa
¿no?
Monica. And I cannot believe
Y
that
ayer,
it's
aparte,
almost
buah,
December
casi no-
right now.
no
Weather
vuelvo,
is
de Coruña.
incredible. I'm wearing a button shirt. I'm loving it.
I'm loving it too. You
Casi
can
me
see for
quedo
miles. The
en
drone shots this
Coruña.
morning looked beautiful. And one
Por culpa
really
de
cool
los
thing about this
trenes.
property is right
Y de la
across the
peña que
ridge is
reserva
another
putos
one of
trenes
Gary
seguido como
Gessner's
si
works.
fuera
That is
una puta
correct.
locura.
That's
aquello. Como son
Eagle's
gratis. claro.
Watch, and that property is insane. Look at the roof line right there. By the way, we have Armand flying the drone right now also. And that home also gets insane views of the Pacific Ocean. And speaking of Harry Gessner, this is a great spot for you to look up to the house and appreciate his architectural genius. This massive ridge beam right in the center, these glulam beams framing these glass panels, and how it opens up the great room to these insane views. Now, before we move on with the rest of the home, I want to quickly take a second to appreciate the area we're touring today. We're in Malibu, which is home to many wealthy TV nook. It is designed so
¿Qué cojones
beautifully.
es esto?
You have these massive beams framing the seating area with this
Es un puto
leather
sofá, ¿no?
sectional couch. Then on the other side, we have the TV unit. You can store all your systems down below, and they frame this section with these massive rustic columns, and they have this reclaimed beam on top. And I mean, seriously, this is one of the corners in the house, and it's so cool with all the candles and details. This is your TV room. It gets better. You can actually close off this section if you want as well. Now, on the other side, we have the
¿Os compraríais una casa
staircase
así?
going down to the lower level where we have all the guest suites, and we also have a powder bathroom here for this level. Now, let's take everybody to the
¿Por
other
qué?
side where we have the
Bueno.
dining room.
¿Qué significa esto? ¿Por qué hay en el baño 2 muñecas y una dándole zurras a otra muñeca? ¿Qué coño es esto?
Level.
Ahí
Now,
va.
let's take everybody to the other side where we have the dining room and the kitchen. But before I cover these spaces, I actually want to turn back and acknowledge this space one more time. I mean, this great room is so incredible. Glulam beams, the volume, how it frames the Pacific Ocean, all these furniture and accessories that they have in this space, it really is an experience being here. And the genius behind all of this work was Herr Gesner. In the world of architecture, he was the maverick of Malibu,
A ver,
a self-taught designer who made his way on
arquitecto,
his
me da
own
igual.
terms, unafraid.
Dile al arquitecto, tiene
Now,
un
this
gusto un
dining room
poco...
is something else.
Tiene un gusto un poco peculiar, ¿no?
Obviously,
Digamos,
we've seen all those live
por no llamarlo de otra forma. A ver, vídeo. Vídeo de Lisma, Facebook. Ay, Diosito, ¿eh? ¿Qué fue el CES hace poco, no? Supongo. ¿Por qué no tiene voz esto?
Un poquito de esto, pero ya está más
Ya, güey.
pulido. Es un monitor en 3D. Claramente ustedes no pueden ver el efecto en sus pantallas en 2D donde lo están viendo en este momento, pero les explico cómo funciona. Creo que todos hemos utilizado VR, todos hemos utilizado dispositivos en 3D, pues esto es lo mismo. Nuestro monitor nos da ese efecto en 3D sin tener que utilizar ningún tipo de lente. Esta barra que está aquí con estas cámaras lo que hace es que lee cada uno de nuestros ojos y determina hacia dónde estamos viendo. Entonces el sistema se encarga de renderizar 2 veces el juego, uno para cada ojo, y nuestro cerebro se encarga de empatar todo y hacer el efecto en 3D. El impacto en el juego no es del doble, es decir, a pesar de que se renderiza 2 veces, no es que si normalmente juego a 60, al renderizarlo 2 veces voy a jugar a 30, no, es más o menos de un 20% el impacto en la tarjeta de video al hacer esto. Entonces, cuando yo me coloco aquí, yo aquí lo estoy viendo, chicos, como si esto fuese una caja con profundidad. Yo veo como, bueno, me voy a mover para que ustedes vean más o menos cómo cambia un poco.
¡Hostia!
Con solo que yo me mueva, el juego detecta dónde están mis ojos y entonces ese efecto 3D se vuelve sumamente inmersivo. Repito, sin necesidad de lentes. Algo curioso que tiene también es que los parlantes detectan también la posición pues, de mi cabeza, de mis orejas, y con base en eso también juega un poco con el sonido para que dé la sensación de que tengo audífonos puestos. Ciertamente esto está espectacular. ¿Será que llega al mercado de manera masiva? No estoy seguro porque el precio parece ser un poco elevado, pero se me hace sumamente interesante lo que está haciendo Acer con estos monitores en 3D sin ningún tipo de lentes. Seguimos desde el CES 2024.
Claro, es del CES. Y... Obviamente, es una tecnología complicada porque el 3D en sí ahora mismo, teniendo las VR, es un poco ¿para qué? ¿Sabes? Es lo mismo exactamente que una DS, o sea, una 3DS. Es exactamente igual, solo que como en la 3DS funciona porque la pantalla es pequeñita. Entonces, por mucho que muevas, y la New 3DS incluso moviéndolo un poco, sigue pareciendo igual el efecto. Pero en una pantalla grande no podían hacer ese efecto por el rollo de los ojos y tal, porque al final como que descuadra. Entonces, el eye tracking este que tienen es igual que en las Apple Pro estas de mierda, las gafas. Las Apple Vision. Te sigue los ojos, entonces sí que puede hacerte ese efecto. Incluso moviéndote y todo el rollo. Interesante, pero tiene que ser de un caro que te cagas. Entonces tampoco sé hasta qué punto te va a compensar pillarte un monitor 3D en gafas cuando los juegos, la mayoría no tienen 3D ya. O sea, no van ni con 3D. Yo creo que el salto, o sea, que el 3D fue el principio para llegar a las VR. El 3D es como la intro a las VR. Yo creo que deberían centrarse más en VR que en el 3D ahora mismo. Porque pelis en 3D... El 3D de las pelis es un poco mierda, la verdad. Creo que es el momento de lanzarse a las VR ya. No va a quedar perfecto si el juego no está preparado para el 3D, pero es un avance. Yo creo que es lo que te digo. El futuro, que no sé si veremos, será VR pero con lentillas. VR de lentillas y tú pones las lentillas, ves normal y de repente, pues eso, como las Apple. Haces así o guiñas un ojo, ¿no? Y te aparece una pantalla y tú puedes jugar a juegos. Pero de esto de que, igual que Yo vi un puto vídeo ahí guapísimo que es en plan, tú vas en el coche, ¿no? Y tú estás viendo, pues, normal, como si no llevaras gafas. Y de repente, pues, te pones... quieres ver una peli, pones la peli y después hace así el tío y el fondo, todo el fondo, desaparece, neno, y es una playa. En plan. Seguramente ese sea el inicio de VR. Sí, sí. Yo creo que el 3D fue el inicio de... Bienvenido Tintín, por cierto. Fue el inicio de las VR en su momento. El 3D fue la pequeña semillita de lo que se iba a venir después de las VR. Entonces los chinos saldrían de casa. Hombre, yo supongo que saldrán igual. Será que no saldrían de casa, más bien. Luego podemos ver el vídeo. Yo no sé ahora mismo. La casa esta me da un poco igual. Ya van a ser las 9. Apple Vision Pro. La realidad. Pero... A ver si había el short este, tío. Iba en un puto coche, el chorbo. Apple Vision Car, voy a poner. Ah, no, pero conduciendo no, cabrones. Iba conduciendo a otra persona y él se puso las gafas. Vision Pro Apple. Aquí puedes ver el rollo este. Bueno, no sé yo. Esto yo para mí que no es verdad. Con Apple Vision Pro la Fórmula 1 se podría ver así. Pero no se ve así, que me quieres engañar. Yo flipo, ¿no? Este es el que tiene... Del que vi el vídeo, vi la mitad del vídeo. ¿Cómo es usar las Vision Pro? Te dice... Bueno, vamos a ver el unboxing. A ver cómo es. Dicen que pesa mucho, obviamente, en comparación con otros cascos, ¿no? Que pesa mucho. Pesan mucho porque lleva... no sé si aluminio o metal. Aluminio pesa menos, pero el metal de la estructura y tal. Y que como que en las otras gafas balancean un poco el peso. Pero en estas no. El futuro es Ready Player One. Sí, pues eso, VR. O sea, tú estar dentro.
$3,500 that it takes to get one of these. Or in this case, actually, $3,900 because this is the 1 terabyte Vision Pro. You'll see the accessories. You'll see it booted up for the first time. And this is very much the beginning of our Apple Vision Pro investigation and series of videos. So definitely get subscribed to make sure you're among the first to see that when the rest of those come out. So, big box,
o sea, mola.
But the headset is relatively small. Shout out to Jerry Everything for the knife.
4,000 pavos.
And inside... This is a really soft box. Whoa. And this here is a third little box.
3 cajas.
So, this is an incredibly flimsy box, but I'll just take this one out. So the 3 things we have now are the Vision Pro headset in this box, the Vision Pro Zeiss lenses, so these are optical inserts, so if you have a prescription, then these come in the box and they will magnetically attach to the headset, so if you wear glasses, you can still use the headset. And this
es para las gafas.
Is the optional $200 extra Vision Pro travel case. This thing, this is a whole aesthetic. I'll get to that in a second. I'm just gonna leave that right here.
Eso es para llevarlas.
But this is the headset itself. It's gonna slide. Yep. Out of this.
¿Y si lo pones para abajo? ¿Qué? Levanta.
So this is like the size of, I mean, it's bigger than a Mac box. This might be bigger than the Mac Studio box, but
Parece una edición
there you go.
coleccionista.
And it's got all the pull tabs. I do expect pretty good packaging here. This is such a high pressure first gen product for Apple, so I'm expecting pretty good packaging for this introduction to a first gen thing. Take the tabs off. And then it's like a shoebox.
Y está vacío.
Okay. So there's the headset.
Me refiero.
So the headset
Tanta
comes
caja
with
para
this
esa mierda,
little
podía haberlo puesto más
cover
pequeña, ¿no?
on it, and it's dressed up with one of these bands. This band right here is the one that you see in all the commercials. It's this really soft, stretchy fabric material, and it's in this sort of cardboard head. This is the Solo Knit band. There's another band though that I'm pretty sure comes with this that is called the Dual Loop band. So I'll put this to the side real quick and see what else comes in this like shoebox size box. So this pops off.
Vale. Cartón,
It's
supongo.
quality. And then we're in to
Ah,
the
en la caja,
inside,
para
which
tenerla
is
así.
a
Le
design by
sobraba
Apple in
cartón.
California
Sí, sí.
pamphlet.
Por eso te digo.
Oh, I bet there's stickers in here. Oh, there's a microfiber too. Okay. Then there is the light seal cushion. Oh, I think you get two of these. Yeah, there's one thin light seal and one thick light seal. I'll get to that in a second.
No sé qué coño.
And at the top, there's a lot of explaining to do. Some more heavy Vision Pro paperwork. And this is the dual loop band. So this is the second band that goes both around the back of your head and over the top of your head. We'll try that out for comfort
Vale.
over the Solo Knit
Tienen
band.
dos bandas
and then there's
para
your
ponerte,
power.
o sea, de las de
So,
atrás de ponerte en la
the
cabeza.
battery that comes with the Vision
La
Pro
batería, que te dura 2
is
horas.
this thing right here. It's all very white. Everything in this box is either white or silver. It's pretty heavy.
Dura 2 horas la batería. O 2 horas y media o algo así.
So this smells pretty new. It's got this white braided cable. And I don't know if Apple's even called this MagSafe, but at the end of this cable is one proprietary connector right there. And
Y eso va a la...
that connector is what plugs
la
into
chispa.
the side of the headset. And this is the battery, the 2.5 to 3 hour battery that comes with Vision Pro.
2 horas y media, 3 horas.
It says on the back
dura la
actually,
batería.
3,166 milliamp hours. I know a lot of phones that have 5,000 milliamp hour batteries that feel much lighter than this, so I'm curious why this feels so heavy, but that's the battery. And then in order to get more than 2.5 hours or to charge the battery, you have the cable, USB-C, and the wall brick. So
El
let's
rollo
see
es
what the
ese.
wall brick
Te
says. I hope
pone-
it charges fast.
Si tú no quieres,
30 watts.
vale, la
So
batería,
not super fast,
para
but
estar
this is a 30
conectado
watt
a la electricidad,
USB Type-C,
tienes que estar ahí enchufado.
and then
Igualmente, me
C-to-C
refiero,
braided
no
cable.
tiene
Okay.
mucho sentido. A no ser que vayas a jugar o lo
That's
que
it
sea desde el sofá.
for the inside of this box. So now let's go over these accessories. So okay, let's do the paperwork first, 'cause this is probably the most common stuff. Everyone's gonna get this. This is a little booklet of what's in the box and a sort of a first, and that is all the pairing it to your iPhone, putting it on for the first time, connecting the straps. I'll show you guys this. Oh, and even how to store the cable around the battery. So apparently you do not want to wrap it vertically, but you do want to wrap it horizontally with a little bit of slack. Okay, I bet there's,
Es lo mismo, bro.
stickers. So polishing cloth, and that is a different polishing cloth to the one that comes with their monitors. Oh, it's nice and thin. That's a nice polishing cloth. People were comparing it to the like $20 polishing cloth for the studio display and the pro display. This is a different polishing cloth. The front of it is glass. You're probably going to want to use this to wipe it down.
Y vi
once in a
también
while,
cómo
so
lo
I thought it
tiraban
was a
al
microfiber
suelo, y se le rompe el
heap. I
cristal
know
de
some people
delante.
unboxing
No le
this
hace
were gonna be
falta
very
porque supongo que será
disappointed
para
in the lack of Vision Pro themed
proteger y
stickers.
tal, porque
All right,
es una
so
hostia,
when
pero-
you buy an Apple Vision Pro, everyone actually has to go through a sort of a face scanning process. So you actually use the iPhone with the Face ID sensors to measure the depth and scan around your eyes and your face, and you end up with a custom fitted light seal. The light seal cushion is either thin or thick. So maybe you have the optical inserts and you want it a little further from your face, or you just want a little extra cushion. This would be the thicker cushion that you would use.
Es como el cojín que te pones en la
So
cama.
there you go, that's the thicker cushion. But the idea is the light seal around the Vision Pro is shaped to roughly match your face. It's not like exactly custom molded, it's more that they have a preset number of different sizes and shapes, and when you do a scan, it picks the one that matches you the best to give you the best immersion. Let's take the plastic or the cardboard off of Vision Pro. And, sort of a standard head size, I guess, right there. And if we take this protective off the first time, dang, there's your glass. A lot of lights in this room, so it's going to be pretty reflective. But now you can probably imagine why people are going to carry this Vision Pro cloth. Notice it says Vision Pro on the microfiber.
Pone Vision Pro en el trapito.
So, when you get the headset, you're going to notice two things. One, this is the thicker version. This thinner version pops off. And two, this light seal. This is the custom light seal that pops off. And then you're just left with this. This is the entire computer for Apple Vision Pro. It's pretty small. It's not unlike a lot of other VR headsets, but it's got this aluminum housing around the outside. You can see the tons of sensors and glass, and it is very front weighted. This light seal is what's ideally shaped to match your face and block the light out. It attaches just like AirPods Max. You've seen AirPods Max headphone covers just like that. There you go. And I'm gonna go with the thin light seal cushion. And there's the normal.
¿Cómo parece? O sea, me refiero.
Now let's take a dual loop band out, because this is the other one that there's been a lot of talk about the weight of the Vision Pro. And this is the reason why Apple has decided to include two bands in the box. There are different band sizes as well, so when you measure your head, you're either getting a small, medium, or a large size for your bands. So I've got mediums of both of these. For this dual loop, let's take it out. So you can see, so much cardboard. There's two loops, one over your head and one behind your head. So there's a very specific process to taking off and attaching these bands with Vision Pro.
Esa de atrás o una que te pille por encima también.
Without booting it up, just so you can see how this works. So this is the solo band right here. Kind of goes around the back of your head. And then, if I'm in the right, this spot right here, you just crank this. And it tightens it up. Yeah, and the weight is really basically just now pulling it onto the front of your face. All the weight is on the front, and it kind of lands on your cheeks and on your forehead. This is how it looks in all the commercials. It's the most simple looking band. You can pull the band up or down to kind of adjust the way it sits on your head.
Pero no parece, es eso,
but,
igual.
as you can probably already tell, that might get a little uncomfortable. So, to take this band off and switch to the other one, all you got to do is, you see this this orange pull tab in here. This orange pull tab is just to release the band from the Vision Pro. So if I pull that,
o sea, tira del
it unclicks the metal, and I pull that other one, and it just pops right off.
Y listo.
And that's the headset without the band attached to it.
Estas putas movidas están muy buenas.
You have these little pods here over each ear, which are a bunch of speaker drivers pointing down into your ear. These are some seriously small components. They're so dense though. Like, this is heavy despite being small. So if you want to put the other band on, it's basically exactly as you'd expect. Attaches like that and like that. And now you can change it with Velcro. You can make it taller in the top, taller in the back.
Que igual eso igual no
so let's try it. Let's try taller in the top and taller in the back. Oh, that's so much more well distributed. And I happen to adjust it pretty close to my head. Pretty much perfectly.
Así
parece much easier to wear.
Parece un poco más cómodo
now you
de
have
esa
this
forma.
thing across the top of your head, so not everybody's gonna like that, but I think it's immediately a better fit. It's more comfortable.
Porque el otro solo por detrás, el peso,
I'm probably gonna be using
te va a ir siempre para adelante. De la otra forma,
let's get to this,
te va más por la cabeza.
this travel case. So this, I guess, isn't really a travel case as much as it's just like a protective outer layer for the glass, since this whole outside, which has a ton of fingerprints already, is just covered in glass. You might want to just pop it in here, and then theoretically you can maybe put that in a backpack. I don't know if you would want to, but this is the extra Vision Pro travel case. It's got this handle on the top, but when it extends out a little bit, that's nice. That's well thought, nice and tight. And then
Guay.
it opens up, and it's got sort of molding in the places that you'd put the headset. So this is where the battery will go. And it's even got this molded spot for the cable, so I can slide that in there, Velcro it down, and the cable should be able to just wrap in here.
Lo malo,
Then
¿sabes
the other
que
side,
son tan hijos de puta? Que
another
en vez
case.
de poner un cable que salga de la batería a
And then it says this
las
is where you,
gafas y se puede
accessory
desenchufar
pouch.
de
So
los
this is
dos
where you
lados,
put polishing
o yo
cloth,
que tenga, yo que sé, un
power
USB o lo
brick,
que sea,
and
para que tú no
USB-C
compres
charging
otro
cable.
USB más barato,
These
se le
things
enchufan a la batería directamente. Y así
make
no,
sense.
no
Keep
tienes
them in
opción
there. Activated
de
carbon
cambiar el
deodorizer.
cable y
Do
tener que
not
comprar otra
heat.
batería o lo que sea.
Then you put the headset in here,
Después de hacer.
put the accessories in there, and close it up. That's actually pretty solid. I know people were making fun of the price of the $200 Vision Pro accessory case, but the thing is, I wouldn't want to travel with this without the case. And I do think people are going to want to travel with this. The number one use case I've been looking forward to with Vision Pro is airplanes. So I'm going to need a pretty big backpack to have extra room for all of this, but I do think I'm going to be trying that. Let's boot it up for the first time. Let's get it all set up. So this is what you'll have to do when you get
ahora
out
va a
Vision Pro.
encenderlas.
Ready? Open the case. Get your battery out first. The battery has a special cable on the end. Get your headset out. Maybe take off your knit cap or whatever this is called. Pick between your thick or thin light steel cover. I'll go thin. Pick between your dual loop or your solo knit band. I'll go solo knit. And then if you want to charge it up or plug it straight into the wall, the battery doesn't appear to have a removable cable.
Got it.
I'm sure some Apple store has some tool to remove this cable whenever they need to replace it. But what it does have is a USB-C port on the side. So if I ever want to just plug the headset straight into the wall, I'm plugging the battery
Claro.
straight into
Para
the wall.
cargarlo
But
sí,
assuming it's
pero para
charged, the
enchufarlo no.
last step
Tiene que tener un
here is to
USB-C
go to
que
the left
saliera de la
side of the
batería.
headset, and you see this little
Pero no.
proprietary circular thing right here. All I'm gonna do is line up the dot with the bottom and then twist, and it'll start to glow just like that. And that means it's starting up for the first time. Takes about a minute to boot up, and then
Tarda un minuto en encenderse.
I'll go right into the setup process, which I'm sure you'll all want to see on camera. And I see a checkbox. How do I look? Ridiculous? Do I look great or ridiculous?
¿Cómo me veo? Bueno.
Decent? Okay.
No está
I can
mal.
see you guys. So there's a little hello script, and it's booting up for the first time. But I'm gonna save this, all this setup and all of this using Vision Pro. That's gonna be the next video. So last thing I'm gonna show you is the Zeiss lenses. If you happen to wear glasses or have a prescription, you will be able to use this headset as well with that prescription with a $100 pair of Zeiss lenses. I think it's $100 for readers and $150 for prescription lenses.
Bien.
But either way,
Pavos. ¿Qué?
they're really quite small and they're magnetic. And since Zeiss runs the world of glass, this is kind of your only option, is these things right here. All you gotta do though, to attach them, is take this off and you grab one of the prescription lenses and you just snap it in place like that. Hope you can see that. It's a pretty strong magnet. I do not have a prescription, but what I've been told is then you go ahead and scan this code with the headset so that it knows what your prescription is and adjusts everything accordingly. which I think is pretty well thought out. But I think that's where I have to
O sea,
end it.
eso es
So stay
como
tuned.
las
Definitely get
gafas, pero sin
subscribed
tener que poner las gafas
for
con esa mierda, ¿no?
the
O sea, tú
following
coges,
videos, because you
pides
already know
como
I gotta set this thing up. I gotta show
unas
you guys how
lentes
to
que valen
use Vision Pro.
150 pavos
Show you
más.
guys what I've been talking about as far as weight distribution, the games that you can
sea,
play,
que
the
si eres miope,
experiences you
estás
can
más
have, the
jodido,
movies
¿no?
you can watch, the apps that it has. There's a lot more, so get subscribed to see that. And big shout out to the sponsor of this video, Anchor. So if you're even considering getting a Vision Pro, you probably already have an iPhone, in which case it would be good to at least know about Anchor's new... Which means, okay, now there's nothing on the back of your head, so you can wear it and lean up against things.
Vamos a la parte interesante, ¿eh? Vamos a la parte interesante. Y carga esta puta mierda.
Which means, okay, now there's nothing on the back of your head, so you can wear it and lean up against things, and that might be an upside, but that also now means you have to deal with this cable all the time running up to
Controles,
your head.
batería.
And the fact that it's very front-weighted now. All of the weight is
Controles.
on the front. Longer USB-C cable. So, there are no controllers that come with this headset. Now, it does support other input methods that are like game controllers and mouse.
Puedes meterle
those can be
el mando de la
useful,
Xbox, por ejemplo.
but by default, the primary input method for everyone using the Vision Pro is your eyes and your hands. So the first time you put on this headset, it goes through this calibration process, and it's pretty interesting. So the first time you ever put it on, it first adjusts the distance between the lenses, physically moving them inside the headset to match the distance between your eyes. Then it does this sort of a hand scan, so it understands your hands. And then you go through this process of basically looking at a bunch of dots all the way around the screen and then tapping your fingers together to select them. Kind of feels like an eye test or something. And then you're in. So first thing you're gonna notice is you can actually kind of put your hands anywhere as long as the headset can see this. Just your fingers touching together. So there's a lot of pictures of people like using a headset with their fingers like out in front of them, pinching like that. But you actually don't have to do that. It's such a wide angle because of the sensors facing forward and sideways and down. You can kind of just rest your hand anywhere in front of you, in your lap. As long as you pinch like that, it can generally pick it up, which is impressive. So you're pinching to control anywhere in that 180 degree bubble in front of you.
Tu mano para hacer los controles.
Crown, you hit that once and the app drawer comes
tiene
up.
bastante,
pretty simple. Doesn't seem that impressive.
Bastante movida.
This is actually a peek at the first
Bienvenido
really
de
impressive
Tasmania.
thing about this headset to me, which is it seems to have incredible spatial positioning lock.
O sea,
And,
lo del fondo no es de verdad.
Really hard to show.
Estamos viendo un poco cómo van las Apple Vision Pro.
VR headsets is hard, but like turn around in the room you're in and like picture a wall or a window just appearing locked in place in 3D space in your room. And no matter how much you move your head or move around, it stays exactly kind of floating where it's supposed to be. But when I say floating, I think you're picturing like a soft float, but it's locked. And that's how it starts. So now you're in Apple's new Vision OS. I would describe this as kind of similar to iPad OS, but way more glassy. And like, of course, with the extra dimension of 3D space. So hitting the digital crown will always get the app drawer back in front of you. And then simply
tú
look at the
seleccionas
icon you
con
want
los
and pinch your
ojos.
fingers together to select it and open that app. Scrolling is basically as you'd expect. You just kind of pinch and grab in the air and then pull as if it's on a string, and physics let you pull things through the air. It's pretty intuitive, it's responsive, it's fluid. Sometimes it's kind of bouncy even. I would say
rollo
the
es ok,
biggest
y para
adjustment
scrollear, pues para
is
arriba, para
only
abajo.
being able to control exactly what you're looking at. And I don't think people realize how often they're controlling things that they're not exactly looking directly at with other computers and other UIs. But with this, you can look at the button to select it. And if you look at the next thing you're going to do, you're no longer controlling the button. You have to look exactly where you're trying to interact with things. It takes a few extra brain cycles to remember to always be
El rollo es que
looking
como tú estás
exactly at the
seleccionando
thing
con
you're
los ojos,
controlling.
tienes que
So when you open a
seleccionar.
window
Si quieres
of a
mirar,
Vision
bueno,
OS
quieres
app,
seleccionar
any one
el
of the
Safari, pues
default
tienes que
Apple
mirar
apps
al
here,
Safari para
it
darle.
locks into
Si no, no lo
place,
vas a.
it's floating there. It kind of looks
¿Sabes?
again like an iPad
Porque
app,
dices que es
but very
difícil,
glassy, like this
porque, o sea,
frosted
que
glass around
tienes
the
que
UI, so it lets
acostumbrarte
you see
que
through a little bit to
realmente
the color behind it.
seleccionar
And it
lo que
even
estás
sometimes
mirando.
casts a shadow on the ground in the correct Z space, so it really solidifies that it's floating in front of you. All this makes it feel like the window is in the space around you. Then, if you look at the bottom of the window, you get a little bar. You can always just look at that bar and pinch to drag it around. So drag it
Y miras la
forward,
barra
backward,
y lo...
anywhere you
Joder,
want in
macho.
X, Y, and Z space, and then let go, and it just stays absolutely locked. And then you can look at either bottom corner to resize, to make it bigger or smaller. And then finally, there's a little X at the bottom. You select that, that closes it. So that is the basics of Vision OS and just using an app. Now,
No está
this
mal.
entire time, by
La verdad.
default, and almost any time they can, pass-through is on, which means you have the headset on, but you can see with the cameras right through to everything around you. And I think this is where Apple really wants to normalize the term spatial computing, because it feels like augmented reality. It feels like you're always able to see the space around you. But technically, it's not actually AR, because you are still looking at a reconstructed version through a camera feed of the world around you instead of the actual world around you. But maybe it's all just semantics. I will say this is the best pass-through of any VR headset I have ever used, and it's not even that close. Now, again, it's so hard to get this through a YouTube video. It does
Yo lo
have
que quería
screen
saber
recording
es...
built in, so I'm going to try to use
Bueno, tú
that.
puedes
but
ver la parte de
imagine
fuera
putting a
realmente.
headset
O sea,
on
puedes ver tu habitación
and not
normal y
really
corriente.
feeling like you're looking at a screen with the real world. Because of the pixel density, because of the 90 hertz refresh rate, and because of the impressive dynamic range of the cameras and the correctly adjusting shutter speed, you just almost don't, you almost just feel like you're looking at the real world, not through a headset. Also, the pass-through is so close to real time that I could legitimately interact with all kinds of things. I could catch items flying at me. I even tried playing ping pong. It was easy, no hesitation. So officially, the R1 chip is doing all the processing of all this stuff and adjusting the shutter speed.
O sea, que tú estás viendo realmente por las cámaras, pero es como si no llevaras nada, vamos.
Milliseconds, which is the lowest in the industry. But it's really combining
Y está jugando al
that with
ping-pong
how
con ellas
close
puestas.
to reality the colors and brightness and everything are that keeps it feeling kind of real. Basically, the only noticeable restriction is super close-up items and objects can get a bit blurry. And then you can't quite make out like really small or fine text, so you can't like read an email or tiny
Como
text
si no
on
llevara
your phone
nada,
in your hand.
como en
But you can
Netflix,
absolutely text people or read
Pero es que si tú te
notifications
fijas,
while keeping the headset on.
la
If you've
mano
tried other
esa
VR headsets,
la
you know
está
how
haciendo
impressive
la
that is.
puta...
It's really good
La-
with the tech
las
that
gafas.
exists now
No la
for
estás viendo
VR
tú.
headsets. But you can definitely still take the headset off and be like, oh, it's way brighter in here than I thought it was. Either way, that's all pass through, but if you ever want to fully immerse yourself, I mean, it is a
Esto es
VR
lo que yo
headset
quería
after
decir.
all you got to do
Si quieres meterte dentro de donde sea,
clockwise, just keep turning it, and it will slowly dial your environment more and more into your field of view until you dial it all the way up to fully surrounding you. So all of the windows you might have had open will still stay stuck where they were, but everything you're doing is just on the moon now. So yeah, there's a couple environments Apple has built in here, most of them relaxing scenic locations like in California somewhere, or one really nice one is Mount Hood with a little bit of rain falling. They're not quite photorealistic, but they're just short of photorealistic. Like they're the most realistic digital environments that I've seen. So then the last two big quirks of the UI. Control Center. So the only way to get to Control Center is to look up, and you can't just look up, but you have to physically turn your head up and look at this arrow that appears above you. So once you see that, you select that, and then you get your Control Center for things like, battery life and notifications, focus modes, and screen recording. And
la parte de arriba es el donde puedes poner el wifi y toda esa mierda, como en los iPhone, dándole para abajo.
You might be wondering, how does text input work with no physical controllers? So there's basically three ways to do this. So let's say you're in Safari and you want to go to mkbhd.com. You really want one of those shiny new Chevron hoodies for the rest of winter. Great. How do you do it? So the first way is to literally hunt and peck, poking the keys on the keyboard that appears in the air in front of you. So this one is tough because it literally only reacts to your pointer finger on each hand. So you actually can't type fast like with home row or anything like that. Not great. The second way, though, I think is actually kind of good. It's at least faster, which is looking at the key you want to interact with and then pinching to select it. So just looking around the keyboard like this and selecting the keys. And you might be surprised how fast you can type like this if you actually know your way around a keyboard pretty well. I actually prefer this to poking the virtual keys because I at least get a little bit of haptic feedback.
O sea, tú miras la letra, haces así y te selecciona la letra. Pero yo creo que lo más fácil es hablarlo.
Look up at the microphone and say the URL out loud, mkbhd.com. And then it just hears you and goes to the site pretty quick. if it's a URL that, you can actually say out loud. So, what can you actually do with this thing? Like, now that we know what it is, it's the M2 chip, a computer on your face with the displays and the lenses inside and all sorts of sensors everywhere. What can this thing actually do? And I feel like the most common way to phrase that is, what is the killer app? Because we feel like we need some sort of justification to spend $3,000-$4,000 on
Es que vale 4.000 pavos,
applications made the
¿Para qué?
iPhone what it is as we know it. Like,
ahorra
apps
4.000 euros y pídete
made
una
the
de
iPad.
esas.
So what is the
A
app
ver,
situation on the
estaría
Vision
muy
Pro?
guapo, ¿eh?
So there are two types
Pero
of
¿para
apps
qué?
on the Vision Pro.
Al final
actually.
estas mierdas
The
como
first is apps that
tampoco
are
tienes
built
muchas cosas.
specifically for the
No
Vision
tienes
Pro.
juegos
to take
largos
advantage of its
tampoco, ni
awesome
tienes tal.
experiences.
No las vas a usar tanto
There are
como
a few of
piensas.
those right now. And then there are all of the other apps, which basically are iPhone and iPad apps that happen to be compatible because the developer didn't opt out. And the first kind is way cooler. So these are Apple's stock apps here that come with the Vision Pro. And so these are all, of course, made just for Vision Pro. So they're going to have stuff that takes full advantage of what this thing is capable of. Apple Music is a pretty classic one. Like, it has all the same functionality of any other Apple Music app, but in this super glassy frosted window, and shows the colors of whatever's behind it. And you have the sort of sorting menu on the left-hand side instead of across the bottom. That's the basic layout. Same thing with the Notes app and the Settings app. Very glassy, almost looking like an iPad app in the air, just rebuilt with this new material design. And then there's the media apps. So Apple TV and Disney Plus, they both come pre-installed, which they have built entire environments inside of them for watching media. And there's even a small collection of videos on the Apple TV app that are shot on a new proprietary format specifically for Vision Pro. So it drops you into a space with a full 180-degree video, and Alicia Keys walks right up to you.
Yo quiero ver cómo se ve una película ahí.
Face. It's crazy. There's also the Photos app, which will let you look at like panoramic photos, for example, in this fully immersive view. So you can blow them up to full screen, and then it gives you a bit of a parallax effect around the edges. So it feels like you're like looking into a window of your own photo and looking around. It's kind of incredible. And then there's also some other really fun third-party apps that I've tried.
Es una foto
that were built ahead of
panorámica.
time. So Sky Guide, this is a good one. You can look around a real representation of the sky around you, where any of the constellations would
Ver las
normally be. You
constelaciones.
can look at it a
Bueno,
little
esto es un
longer and
poco
it'll
guapo.
pop it out. You can pull it out of the sky to get more information about it.
Ah,
It's a pretty
bueno.
great idea. There's another one called Jig Space, which it's a sick app. I don't know if I'd ever use it, but basically it lets you load 3D models into the space you're in and mess around with them, take them apart, view them in actual size. And this really takes advantage of how good the placement lock is on the Vision Pro. And you can walk around and really gets you a better understanding of the scale of things that you don't get to see up close very often.
What?
And then Keynote is another funny one. So you can, of course, go through and
Loco. Te puedes desmontar un puto coche en tu casa.
edit a Keynote just like normal if you want to.
Wow.
But then
Eso
they've
sí me
built
sorprendió,
this
¿eh?
whole environment for practicing your presentation skills. So you press that and it says, oh, would you like to go to a conference room or the literal Steve Jobs theater? So you can rehearse talking to your audience with your Keynote slides behind you. It is genuinely incredibly immersive. And there's already a bunch more apps like this in the App Store already at launch that are specifically built for Vision Pro, so they'll take advantage of its various strengths. Now, are any of these a killer app? Not really. I mean, I don't, if you're looking for any one of these to be the reason why you spend like $4,000 on this headset, I don't think we have that
La
yet.
pregunta
But
es si
then at
puedo
least there's
jugar
all
a
the
juegos.
other non-native but technically still compatible
Desmontar es tener un
apps
elevador, claro. ¿Tú
that are
imaginas?
in the App
Te
Store.
creas
And these are going to look just
tu
like
casa
iPhone and
ahí
iPad apps.
y ya
Actually,
está.
there's a pre-installed
Molaba
folder
que pudieras
on the
a lo
home
mejor tú
screen
una casa,
when you get this
tu
thing,
medida,
literally
un
called compatible
coche,
apps. And
o
there's a bunch
movidas
of them
así,
from
pero
Apple here.
puedes
They look
jugar
exactly
al,
like
al
iPad apps.
Alex,
I'm
por
surprised
ejemplo.
actually that
Que
more
ese
of
es el
them
rollo.
aren't fully built out to take advantage of Vision Pro, but like Apple Maps is just the iPad app. And so it would be cool if there were some like fun augmented reality overlay, walking directions type stuff, but nope, it's all the exact same functionality.
Vale, lo que
that
decían
you'll
a
find
este era
if
que
you open this
molaba
app
que
on
el
your iPad.
Maps
And you can go to the App Store and search a bunch
te
of the names
llevara
of apps
como
you
por una
already know
flecha,
and
pues quieres
love
ir
and
andando,
find
tal,
them
pero no,
by
simplemente es
name
una app y ya
and
está.
grab them and they'll work the exact same way. Crazily enough though, there are already some notable exceptions. No Netflix app for the Vision Pro. No YouTube app for the Vision Pro. No Spotify app for the Vision Pro. Apple has a kind of a contentious relationship with a lot of developers right now, especially some of the bigger ones. And so some have made the active choice to opt out. They're like, we don't want to be there. This won't be a big enough platform to matter to us to justify the work. So they're not there. Now, I totally get it, but also now, as a Vision Pro owner and someone who's using it, I'm like, it's kind of a bummer. I really wanted to be able to watch like a Netflix show offline, downloaded ahead of time, but you can't do that now. But at least for now, for the record, you can use the browser and anything that would work in the browser. So if you pull up Safari and you get a full screen 4K YouTube video going and locked in space or even in an environment, it looks great. It's razor sharp. Like I could totally watch YouTube videos like
puedes ver YouTube pero desde el navegador. No es una app.
Like the features of having the dedicated app like offline video. Honestly, to me, the killer app of the Vision Pro isn't just an app. It's actually the ecosystem. And we knew this was coming, but the second you log into a Vision Pro with your Apple ID, immediately it starts pulling all the services and all the stuff that you're used to from all the other Apple devices you already have. And I said this before the Vision Pro is announced. I was like, this is the most obvious strategy for Apple because there are lots of people out there who have never considered buying a VR headset that are considering only this one because they have an iPhone and this is the one that works with the iPhone and none of the others are particularly close. So all of your iMessages are already here, all of your photos are already
here. Tú cuando entras en el móvil nuevo,
all your notes
tienes todo lo del anterior y aquí también tienes todo lo de tu móvil, lo tienes ahí.
Okay, easily my favorite feature is connecting to your Mac. Right, so anytime your Mac is in front of you and it's turned on, hit that arrow, and then there's this little icon to become my Mac's virtual display.
O sea, te conectas al portátil y supongo que tú puedes tener tres.
It blacks out the display of my Mac and then turns that display into a 4K window inside of the headset. So now my keyboard and trackpad still work. Even if it is a desktop, the keyboard and the trackpad still control everything, and you can continue using it just like a normal computer, but with the ability to make your new 4K monitor as big or as small or close or far away as you want, which is super sick. And then the bonus
is, lo que hace es sacar tu pantalla en una pantalla de ahí en 4K
around your Mac computer. So like you can have your Mac in the middle here, and maybe you're editing or doing some work on the Mac app, and then you have a Safari window or messages or whatever else you want right next to it around it. And then your keyboard and trackpad can move seamlessly between them all to control all of them. This to me, as a Mac user, the ease of use for setup to make this happen, this feels like the biggest game changer, like the most compelling, futuristic feeling use of this headset to me. Especially on a plane. Oh my God, I can't tell you how many times I've had an awkward conversation because like I'm editing a video on the plane, the person next to me sees I'm editing a video of myself and it's kind of weird and hard to explain, but I'm picturing putting the headset on, the display blacks out, but now I can do all the editing I want and I can make the screen as big as I want. So I've really enjoyed using that feature. Again, the biggest challenge though is still remembering to look exactly at the thing you want to control.
Sí, lo más difícil
es, aside from typing on the real keyboard on whatever window is open, if you want to control something,
ese es el rollo.
You have to be looking at it.
Tienes que mirarlo, si no, no
funciona. Like a big deal, but when you try it, you'll see what I mean. And then also, odd limitation, one monitor only from the Mac, one virtual monitor only at a time. So if you usually run like a dual display setup like I do for Final Cut Pro, big preview on one side, timeline on the other side, you can't do that. You have to use the big one monitor version of your setup. All right, so you might have...
No puedes tener dos pantallas, solo puedes tener una pantalla del Mac. Solo una pantalla. Aunque tengas dos, tú físicamente, pues para hacer una cosa y otra, ahí solo te va a aparecer una vaya mierda entonces.
I've left one
thing out
this whole time.
One
thing, you could call it one more thing. Sure, it's one more huge, crazy thing. But it's kind of the defining characteristic of this product, and that is personas. So in all the advertising you've seen of Vision Pro, there's these eyes on the outside of the headset that looks like they're kind of in like a pass-through, like in a dark astronaut helmet type of thing. Easily the most memed, most unique aspect of this headset, right? It's the only headset with an outward display. And I mean, it's very, very prominent in those videos. But in real life, as you've started to see from some of my footage, it is very different. And I think I figured out why. So first of all, it's not actually see-through, right? There's a whole bunch of computer in between me and you right now. So the eyes aren't on the outside. It's a representation of my eyes based on what all the sensors on the inside are seeing. It's reconstructing it on the outside. So those sensors are tracking at 90 frames per second, and they give you optic ID, which is, it's how you log into the headset and keep things secure. It's basically the same as Face ID or Touch ID. It's just looking at and identifying your eyes. And it also powers the one beta feature of this headset, which is personas, which is, it's the most impressive and weirdest thing about this headset at the same time. I'm calling it right now. So the purpose of the eyes on the outside is really not for you, the wearer of the headset. In fact, you'll never see it, but it's for the people around you. So when you're in a pass-through mode, your eyes will shine through to indicate that you wearing the headset can see the person outside. So that right there is already pretty unique. But then when you're in something immersive and you can't see what's around you, it covers up your eyes with this sort of like a blue, purple, glowing animation. So that intuitively makes sense. You can see the eyes when they can see you. You can't see the eyes when they can't see you. But crazily enough, there's also a feature where if you have someone who's outside the headset looking at you, talking to you, and you are in an immersion, but you want to talk to them through that, they will kind of appear through the fog of whatever immersive environment you're in. So you just start talking and looking in their direction. It detects that and sort of parts a little bit of a fog, and that person's eyes will show through the fog. It's pretty decent. It basically only shows one person at a time, and when this is happening on the outside of the headset, it shows a little bit of your eyes poking through the purple and blue glow. It's, as you can see, it's all working, but also I think it looks nothing like the eyes from the ad. So in an effort to make the eyes as presentable as possible, two things. First of all, this screen is actually behind a lenticular film, which I didn't even realize that from the initial media they've published, but if you've ever heard of that, it's sort of what gives it like this 3D depth. You might have seen this on other like holographic displays and stuff, but the point of that is to make the eyes appear to be sunken into the display, like on your actual face, instead of like glued to the front of the headset, which would look a little more weird.
Lo que buscan es que parezca que es tu puta cara, obviamente, no que se pongan los ojos fuera.
They've built in a way to scan in and create a digital representation of your face, which is called your persona. And it looks like this. So to get those eyes on the outside of the Vision Pro headset, you have to do something called registering your persona. This is how it creates the digital version of you that includes your eyes that will show up here. So let's do that now. It's actually kind of a cool process. So I'm gonna put it on, and hopefully the screen recording works so you can see exactly what I'm doing.
A veces se ve.
Crown. I'm gonna go to settings, and you can do this when you first set it up, but I'm going to persona, and I'm gonna hit get started. So let's refine my hands real quick. This is capturing detail from the front of the headset of the hands in front of me. Once it's done with that, it's going to ask me to take it off. So, this is how it goes.
When you're ready, hold Apple Vision Pro at eye level. Keep your arms and shoulders relaxed. Align your entire face within the frame.
My face shows up like Face ID.
Slowly turn your head to the right. Now slowly turn your head to the left. Now, tilt your head up. Then, tilt your head down. Next, let's capture your facial expressions. Smile with your mouth closed. Then make a big smile with your teeth showing. Now, raise your eyebrows. Close your eyes for a moment. Capture complete. Put Vision Pro back on to continue.
Sí, pero vamos a lo importante. El porno, ¿qué tal se ve? Pues se verá igual que... Ahí está, mira tu cara.
There's my persona, right there.
Se verá igual, supongo.
Kind of uncanny.
No sé, porno, dijo
The hair's a little bit different, but the face...
Supongo que se verá igual, pues lo vas a ver en...
Wow.
En el Safari.
Wow, okay. So there's different lighting. You can choose it to always be in studio lighting and always be in contour lighting. I'll just leave it at natural and hit next. You can change the color temperature of your skin tone. Cool to warm. I think I'm around there. Brightness, darkness. I think I'm around there, near the middle.
No hay comida.
Next. And then I can add glasses. So if I typically have glasses, which obviously I wouldn't be able to wear in the Vision Pro, you can still look like you have glasses.
¿Para qué?
Anytime you're on that FaceTime call. And then next.
Ah, bueno, si haces FaceTime, aparece esa puta... O sea, aparece tu puta cara, sí.
So I think now you should see my eyes.
Más o menos, sí, pero no sé tanto.
Maybe. And that's the thing. It barely shows up. You can barely see my eyes when I'm wearing the headset. Now, I've tried a couple other scans subsequently, so I've tried different lighting conditions, I've tried different backgrounds, simple backgrounds, tried different shirts and things like that. It doesn't really ever appear any brighter. I think if you have a darker skin tone like me, just don't expect the eyes to show up very brightly on the outside of the headset. It's pretty subtle. Even when it does show up, it's a little weird looking. The eyes are a little too far apart sometimes. They're a little dim. You see like
no se va a notar tanto. Que como
it's kind of weird, but that persona though, that is some pretty interesting stuff. It's crazy that this is actually a real thing being shipped. Like first Meta started doing it, now Apple's doing this. This is, again, it's technically in beta, so I don't know, there's room for improvement, but it still works. But as of right now, I feel like this is both incredibly impressive and slightly unsettling. Like it's very impressive that this headset I'm wearing on my face is tracking all these little micro expressions and little movements from my eyes and my cheeks and my mouth and everything. But at the same time, it's just not quite human. It's right at the edge of the uncanny valley of...
El rollo es que cómo sabe que abre la... O sea, lo de la lengüita. O sea, te está mirando todo.
But the crazy part is, you can now use this persona as your camera feed for any apps in Vision Pro that require a front-facing camera, like FaceTime.
Eso, FaceTime, ¿cómo va?
I've been using FaceTime a few times in the Vision Pro, and it is, technically speaking, incredible. So I've made a few FaceTime calls in the past few days with some fellow reviewers who you'll probably recognize from their personas who are also testing the Vision Pro. And universally, once we all got past the shock of, oh my God, it's you, it looks like a digital version of you, this is crazy, I've never seen anything like this before. Once we got past that, there is a ton happening here. So you can see the FaceTime windows literally appear as just that. They're just like glassy windows floating in space with people looking through them. And then the angle that you look into the window is gonna match the angle that they see you looking at them. Meaning, if we're all in Vision Pros on this call, unlikely, but hear me out. If we're all in Vision Pros and you've got a bunch of people on this FaceTime call, so there's somebody to the left and somebody to the right. If I look to the person and make eye contact with the person to the right, the person to the left sees like the side of my head because I'm looking at somebody else. That's already pretty cool. And then the same thing is true for hand gestures.
Si estás mirando a una persona, la otra persona te ve el lado.
You can reach out and make hand gestures that are tracked by the cameras in this bubble in front of you, and they show up at the correct angle towards the person that you're gesturing at, so not towards everybody else on the call. Oh, wait. Okay, good test. So wait, Justine, do you see this?
Yes.
And Brian,
I don't see that. I don't see that, Marquez.
Now wait, so now Brian, do you see this?
Now I can see that, Marquez.
And then on top of that, spatial audio here is incredibly well developed. So again, you're on the call, the voice of the person to the right comes from the right side, the voice of the person to the left comes from the left.
Entonces viene de un lado y de otro.
You can just pick up and move the window around, and that angle
detecta tu voz y simula el movimiento de la boca. Puede ser, pero
no
tiene sentido, porque si tú no haces ningún ruido y sacas la lengua solo, ¿cómo sabes si no estás haciendo ruido? Debe tener cámaras mirando para abajo o algo.
And if I turn up the environment and bring them into like the moon or some other 3D space, it actually sounds much more like I'm in a gigantic space with no echo versus in the actual room. It's all very subtle, but very well considered. So once you're in this a while, you start to notice all these little smaller things. Again, it's not quite human-like. It's not like looking at a video feed of a human face, but it is still like it has a lot of like, this would be the best avatar anyone's ever made in 2K. Like no one's ever done a 2K face scan and had it look this good, but it's still not as good as like a perfect
Eso está un poco
reality.
gallumbos,
You've heard the Uncanny Valley thing
Está
before.
un poco
I think
gallumbos.
the
Tampoco
number
tiene,
one
hombre, yo no sé si puedes
weakness
contar
for
esto
the
para
avatars
jugar
or
o lo que sea. Porque
personas
si no,
that
¿para qué
I've
hostia lo
seen is
quieres?
hair. So basically everyone I've talked to has like a frozen lump of hair instead of flowing realistic hair. And that's true about all flowing things. Like however your hair was when you did the scan, it's frozen that way. And so is any necklace you're wearing, whether it's crooked or not. Or I guess technically also any makeup you had on or however you looked when you did the scan. Maybe that could be a good thing. Maybe you did a scan when you were looking all dolled up and then you get on a 7 a.m. call and you still look perfect even though you look like you just woke up in real life. So I guess there's that too. But anyway, all that is to say, FaceTime. FaceTime is the most well thought out, like most futuristic Vision Pro experience. It just is. So I'll end this video with this. Now you know what it's like to use and operate the Vision Pro. But there's still a lot more to consider when actually considering if you should buy and own this thing, from the use cases to the things that work well and don't work well, the philosophy behind it, the prices, all of that stuff. That's what's going to be for my full review. Like there are parts of this thing that are absolutely amazing, unparalleled, best I've ever seen. But the reason it's so interesting is because it's actually a young category. Like we're so used to this slow, boring iteration in mature categories like smartphones and laptops. And you always see the comments talking about how tech is so boring, but now they're actually jumping into something real.
Yo creo que luego hay un vídeo en el que las usa por la calle, ¿no? O algo. No. Pero yo creo que había alguien que sí que los usaba por la puta calle.
Which means, okay, now there's nothing on the... Which means, okay, now there's nothing on the back of your head, so you can wear it and lean up against.
Eso está guay si quieres, yo que sé, si hay un tour por algún lado o lo que sea. ¿Cómo se ve realmente? Hay un dinosaurio, quiero ver el dinosaurio.
Yo puedo cambiar alrededor con esto. Ve, yo tengo la luna ahí y ahí miren qué nítido se ve. Pinch, pinch, todo es pinch. A ver, el animal va a salir. Wow, se me está acercando. Wow, se salió de la pantalla. Wow.
Oh, wow. A ver, esas mierdas sí merece la pena. Pero no por ese precio. Aún salgo a la calle con unas gafas de construir.
Buenos días, amigos suscriptores de YouTube. En este video quiero hacerlo
igual en Coruña
mostrándole en claro lo que
es mucha historia.
Se ve o cómo se ve el Apple Vision Pro. Miren,
pero
Siri, miren Siri
no sé
cuando se activa. Es una burbuja.
No sé cómo va la historia.
Como que la puedo... Hey Siri, what time is it? Ok, ciérralo, boom. Señores, lo práctico que es lo que más le va a sorprender. Yo tengo ya 3 horas con él y solamente en configuración. Todo lo que va a poder hacerse en un futuro, esto va a cambiar.
Yo supongo que
todo, señor.
Van a sacar
aquí,
estas gafas a lo mejor cada año
mejoradas, pero tengo,
y te van a cobrar
yo puedo ver mi alrededor.
Euros,
yo puedo cambiar alrededor con esto. Ve, yo tengo la luna ahí y ahí miren qué nítido se ve. 4K. Yo no sé cómo ustedes lo están viendo, pero esto yo no siento... yo siento como que no hay más nada que mejorar. Yo siento como que ya de la forma que se ve perfecto.
A este le pagaron.
Recuerden que tenemos como que yo viendo un video que yo estoy viendo. Yo puedo ver el agua. Entonces,
quiero ver los
mejor
dinosaurios.
que hace Apple, por si a ti se te olvida, ustedes ven que aquí me está mostrando un poquito la cámara porque Apple me está indicando de que la cámara está muy cerca. Entonces me está recordando de que, hey, Marciano, aquí hay gente o tú estás aquí. Entonces, si yo me alejo un poquito, mira si se sigue viendo bien. Me da ese recordatorio, ¿ok? Para que yo no vaya a tropezarme con algo. Y lo más importante, mira, yo puedo dar una vuelta completa aquí y ver, y yo me siento que yo me traslado. O sea, yo... Y
lo normal es que sientes que te trasladas porque estás...
No le hemos mostrado la aplicación de afuera.
O sea, miras a los lados y estás ahí, pero no puedes moverte, no puedes...
Si yo me muevo...
¿Ah, sí?
El Apple Vision sabe que yo me estoy moviendo y me
te cancela.
Aclara todo y me muestra. Cuidado, Marciano. Entonces yo regreso aquí y Apple Vision sabe que yo estoy aquí, era donde yo estaba, y aquí me va a mostrar otra vez el bello ambiente.
Sí, pero no puedes ir por ahí andando, que eso
Entonces,
molaría.
el botón del Crown.
Señores de
aquí,
Apple, manden unas gafas de esas para hacer un review.
Aquí tenemos
Molado,
las
¿eh?
aplicaciones. Aquí
Si
tenemos
las mandan,
el Apple TV.
si las mandan.
Obviamente. Mira, aquí hay una immersive.
Seguro que no iba a ponerlo.
Hay un show que es para el Apple Vision Pro. Tiene el loguito
por
ahí.
4.000 euros.
No sé si ustedes lo pueden ver.
Hay series que son immersive, que es lo que yo quería saber.
¿Verdad? Yo puedo venir aquí a la esquina. Es con la mirada. Yo no hago nada. Con la mano yo solamente elijo. Y bueno, puedo mover así y así. Algo muy importante deben de entender es que yo la mano no la tengo que tener arriba. Yo la tengo arriba para mostrarles. Pero yo desde aquí, con mi mano abajo, miren cómo yo puedo agarrar la cámara, la pantalla y moverla. O sea,
Y no tienes que tener las manos arriba.
Los sensores y las cámaras que tiene el Apple Vision Pro me siguen lo que es la mano. Entonces, vamos a ver este show. Yo con los dedos. Vamos a ver este. Óyeme, yo siento que es muy avanzado y yo soy quien tengo.
Venga, dale gas, coño.
Comenzamos a como que a experimentar lo que es tocar la pantalla y que funcionaba perfecto. Así mismo es que funciona esto. Mira, yo me acerco también y me va a decir, me sale una notificación de que, hey, cuidado, que estás acercándote mucho a un objeto para no chocar. Eso, señores, ningún VR en el planeta Tierra lo tiene. Entonces, vamos a ver este episodio, a ver qué tan inmersivo será. Ok, me estoy viendo todo. Dice que tenga cuidado en mis alrededores y le voy a dar OK. Todo lo ve en negro. Oh my God, es una película inmersiva, bro.
No me digas que no, que es en plan dos
ya por
jodas.
eso también el producto, que yo no entra luz.
Antes de que empiece.
Un poquito porque no es que yo la quiero ver ahora.
Antes de que empiece. Si esto de ser inmersiva no es como antes, que aparecía un cuadrado y salen las cosas de ahí. Si esto es en plan que puedes ver absolutamente todo alrededor, me cago encima. Porque eso es el futuro de las películas.
Ahora. Pero
no
esto
creo,
es negro,
¿no?
güey. Aquí hay algo pasa, porque esto es negro y no estoy viendo nada. El ojo es como que va tomando un entrenamiento para saber cómo funciona, pero después... No,
A ver, ¿por qué no se ve nada?
¿Será que la pantalla está en otro lado? No, algo pasa. Oye, puedo cerrar la Apple TV desde ahí. ¿Vieron eso? Este es el sistema operativo. Yo puedo venir aquí. Es muy rápido, señores, pero todo lo que yo voy...
A ver, pero ponme una.
Como que señalando es con los ojos que yo estoy haciendo. Por ejemplo, aquí para cerrar, yo lo miro y cierro. Y listo. Entonces aquí está la aplicación de música. Yo puedo venir aquí.
El 3DS de las cosas que salen es una basura. Claro, a ver, yo me refiero que si es inmersivo de que tú estás viendo las movidas y se ve algo guay. Si es en plan...
la película, pero es... Oh my God, yo quedé loco.
Sí, eso se puso todo oscuro. Yo no sé.
Una pantalla grandísima. Yo quisiera que se pudiera poner...
Vamos a ver si encuentro esa mierda.
Es muy loco porque...
Vision Pro, Immersive, series. Inversión rollo avatar, pero pudiendo mirar alrededor. Claro. Yo es lo que quiero ver. Quiero ver si eso es verdad. Immersive. Voy a poner Apple TV. Esto tiene que ser en plan una lentilla en el futuro. Las gafas al final molan. Sí, ya lo dije yo también. Joder. No hay nadie que haya grabado, porque seguramente no se pueden grabar. Claro, igual si detectan que tienes una capturadora, no te dejan grabar la serie. No jodas, tío. No hay ni un puto vídeo viendo una serie de Netflix. Immersive. Qué cabrones, tío. Buah, no hay, tío. A ver. Esto es una putada, ¿eh? Es para ver si se ve simplemente la pantalla o todo. Immersive Video. Pero Immersive Video... A ver, ¿eh? Ahí está, la de aventura y no sé qué. Ese no es Immersive. Oh, sí, tiene Immersive. Pero la de ahí aventura y no sé qué tenía... O sea, como que se ponía todo en negro, ¿no? A ver, resumen y episodio. A ver, dale, coño. Bueno, a ver. Claro, es que es eso. ¿Ves? Es eso. Seguramente no les dejan grabar lo que hay dentro de Apple TV. Entonces no hay ninguna grabación. De momento. Sí, pero yo quiero ver lo del Apple TV con esto, ¿qué? Incluye suscripción de ¿cuánto vale el viso? No. Habrá que ver más adelante si sacan un vídeo. Seguramente, ya os digo, o sea, eso, que como estás capturando, lo que no quieren es que grabes cosas del Apple TV y no te dejan capturar mientras estás viendo una puta serie, obviamente. Immersive Titles, tal, ¿pero qué? Yo quiero saber si se ve o no se ve. O sea, si lo hicieron bien y puedes ver 360 sin que haya una puta... un marco, ¿sabes? En plan, estás viendo las movidas y está... y eso es Dios. Eso sería Dios. Si es como lo de los dinosaurios, que es un marco y sale para afuera y tal... es 3D, vamos. No tiene más. Yo con lo que flico es que... Joder. Lo de DJ y tal, que tampoco está mal.
Yo puedo cambiar alrededor con esto.
Pero aquí puedo grabar el dinosaurio.
Wow, se salió de la pantalla. Wow.
Pero no es immersive, yo creo. Yo creo que esto lo puedo grabar porque está en ventana. Y aquí tampoco aparece nada de esa parte, ¿no?
Ahí. Impresionante. Yo lamentablemente no le puedo mostrar la película, pero es... Oh my God, yo quedé loco viendo la película, 4K, una pantalla grandísima.
No puedes ver película, o sea, no te va a dejar mientras grabar lo que viene en la... Igual que el GX, el Opera GX, hacía lo mismo. Si estoy en directo, no puedo poneros la película. Yo veo la peli, pero se ve en negro ahí.
Ok.
Haces una app, ¿eh?
Espalda. Pero ¿cómo es eso de que la mariposa viene y lo toca? Pero si yo me alejo... Wow, se salió de la pantalla. Wow. Wow, qué duro se ve.
Imaginas, que coge y te hace y te intenta morder.
Salió de la pantalla y me está mirando de frente. No,
sería la polla que te intente morder.
Oh, sigue mis manos. Sigue mis manos la vaina.
¿Hay forma de quitar el bloqueo en Firefox? Sí, bueno, ojalá, pero en esto, al ser Safari y tal, no creo que tenga ROM ni nada. Tiene ciertas apps.
Bueno,
tú no puedes instalar Netflix, no puedes instalar YouTube.
Yo quiero aquí. Ah, no, aquí no me deja. Tengo que seguirlo viendo así. Ahí viene de otra mano. Uy, yo que sentí miedo.
Justo ahora el perro le muerde un pie y el tipo se caga encima.
Ahí se está cerrando. ¡Ey! Marico. Así es que se ve los Apple Vision Pro. Esto ha sido todo por este video.
Tampoco me parece tan... Yo te digo, lo único que merecería la pena de gastarte esa pasta es realmente si en las series te envuelve completamente. Si no, tampoco tiene cosa tan diferente que las Oculus Quest, por ejemplo. No, o sea, no veo la justificación de gastarse 4.000 pavos simplemente porque es Apple, ¿sabes? No puede, por lo que vi ahí, hombre, yo no sé si puedes jugar o no. Ahí ya no lo sé. Pero me da a mí que no, ¿sabes? De la otra forma sí puedes jugar, joder. Y vas a ver exactamente lo mismo. Me refiero, tiene 4 cosillas que son diferentes. Lo de hacerte el avatar de la cara para el face y tal, pero para eso, da igual. O sea, no, es un artículo de... No habrá ninguna preparada en sí, claro, es que ese es el rollo. El rollo es que seguramente no hay ningún juego que sea compatible con estas. Con las Oculus Quest sí. Con las otras, ¿no? Con las Vive y lo que sea. Pero con estas yo creo que no. Igual más adelante sí puedes jugar con ellas, ¿no? Porque al final es más o menos lo mismo. Pero bueno. Es como el móvil. ¿Te compensa gastarte 1.000 y pico pavos? Depende. El móvil al menos le sacas muchísima funcionalidad. Al final estás todo el puto día con el móvil. Pero las gafas las vas a dejar ahí. Las vas a usar los 2 primeros días y luego las vas a dejar ahí tiradas. Si no puedes jugar con ellas. Si los vídeos que ves los ves en la tele, al final no te compensa porque no te da esa sensación. Por la novedad y listo. No tienen otra cosa. Así que bueno. Estos son las Apple Vision Pro. Que lo sepáis. Y nada más, vamos a ir acabando, vamos a hacer raidecilla. Mañana, no sé a qué cojones voy a jugar. La verdad es que tampoco ha salido ningún juego así. Y podría jugar al Kirby, no sé si... ¿Me acabé el Kirby? Sí, me acabé el Kirby, joder. Se lo podría haber llevado a mi hermano. No me di cuenta. Le dije a Iman que no me había acabado el Kirby, sí me lo acabé, de hecho me lo acabé en directo. No me acordaba. Y eso que lo llevé para jugar. Tengo el Red Dead ahí parado, no jugué más. Entonces, pues no sé. A ver si pienso algo. Podemos echar un Fall Guys. Si Isma se digna jugar un Fall Guys. O un Mario Kart. Me molaría hacer como un tornillo de Mario Kart entre nosotros. Pero de un día para otro va a ser un poco complicado. Y aparte creo que hay que pagar el Nintendo Online este. Con lo cual, estamos en la misma. Bien, ¿quién está por aquí? Javi Primo, no sé qué. Soy Juan Solo. Soy Juan Solo. Isma, no quiero jugar contigo por no ir a asada. Nadie quiere asada. Unos fornites, no. Fornite no. Fornite no, por favor. Soy Juan Solo, hace tiempo que no hacemos raid, ¿no? Bueno, podemos hacer raid. ¿Qué pasa con Werly? Nada. Anuncios para ti. Después del After Vikings. Bueno, coño es esto. A ver, algún... One Piece. 5 Emperador. 5º Emperador. One Piece se está poniendo interesante, que lo sepáis. Tiene un anuncio seguro, así que mientras...
Empiezo un directo, por ejemplo este directo, ¿vale? Y digo, este directo va a durar 1 hora y es extensible hasta las 12 horas, o sea, un máximo de 12 horas. Entonces,
mira, tiene figuritas, tal, figura guapa de One Piece.
Pues se suman 5 minutos. Entonces, se hacen 10 suscripciones, pues se suman...
50.000 seguidores, te están viendo 200 personas, sí señor.
Sí, señor. 100 suscripciones, pues se suman 500 minutos. No, 500 no, con 100 suscripciones serían 5.000. No, sí, serían 500. 500 minutos. 500 minutos, pues se divide en esto, lo que salga en horas, así hasta un máximo de 12
Pues
horas.
nada, os dejo ahí con este hombre, ¿vale? No sé, me cago en la puta, lo puse mal. Mira esto, ¿eh? Estoy empanado hoy. Puse la barra donde no era, tío. Ahora. Ahora sí. Creo. Sí, ahora sí. Es lunes de resaca. ¿Qué me pedís, no? Suficiente. Mañana nos vemos. Adiós.
Letras, aviso. ¿Cuántas subs harían falta para completar las 12 horas? 1 hora sería gratis, 12 horas, 11 horas, ¿vale? 11 horas son 60 minutos. Os estamos hablando de 660 minutos. Ginchiriku, muchas gracias por esa raid. Estamos aquí intentando hacer matemáticas. Mal asunto. Mal asunto, las matemáticas. 132 suscripciones.